Welcome back to the Action Heart YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about chair-based exercise and why it's so important. We find nowadays that more people are in need of chair-based exercise, and that could be due to a number of factors. Specifically, somebody that presents with poor mobility and balance often feel reassured that they can still do a suitable exercise program but using the safety of a chair. Second of all, people that are recovering from any lower body injury or surgery where weight bearing exercise is advised against. Again, a chair can be very, very handy here, as it can still allow them to increase their heart rate and use the joints of their upper body to get a sufficient workout done. Nowadays, when people have more sedentary jobs, desk jobs, if you're working from home, or as a lot of people are in this pandemic, they often find that they're sat down for long periods of time. Now, it's not just purely the sitting that's a problem here. If these people were just to sit, but then able to move their upper body and stretch and bend, that would often counteract the damage that long periods of sitting can do. So this video will hopefully highlight some exercises that you can all do from home. As with any exercise program, what we'd advise you to do is ensure that you've got an adequate amount of space before you perform any activity. Make sure you're well hydrated and you feel generally well as well. So the first exercise we're going to do today is side bends. Now again, like our warm up and cool down video, what we'd advise is 10 either side, but do whatever works for you. This routine is going to take around about 10 minutes in total, but the important thing is we don't want to rush it, we want to take our time. So with side bends, you want to sit up nice and tall, chest up nice and high, and ensure that you've got a nice firm chair. Sofas aren't really ideal with this because there's a lot of give in them and the back support isn't great. So we want something that's going to be firm, that isn't going to move as your exercise. So with the side bend, arms down by your side, feet flat on the floor in front of you, and keeping your eyes forward. You're going to slowly reach down one side, just to the point where you feel mild stiffness, not past that, back to the middle, and the other side. Like all other exercises that we're going to demonstrate to you, I want you to ensure that you are breathing slowly and controlled throughout the movements. If at any point you feel dizzy or lightheaded, please stop the exercise and have a drink of water. Wait for 5 minutes until you proceed, or skip the exercise for the remainder of the day. Okie dokie. Once 10 are done either side, we're going to move on to our second exercise, which are shoulder shrugs or shoulder raises. We're going to do 10 of these in total. So, arm position, again you're going to hang them down by your side. And this time you're going to raise the shoulders up towards the ears, hold it for a count of 1, and control it back down again. What you want to avoid doing here is once you reach your shoulders up towards your ears, you don't want to let your shoulder just drop back down. That will place unnecessary strain on the shoulder joint. So everything needs to be slow and controlled. So that's 10 of these. Again, chest is high, eyes are forward, breathing's nice and slow. Exercise number 3 is going to be trunk twists. Now you might remember this for the previous video, and this one was quite tricky because as you're standing there, the hips have a tendency to roll with the twisting action of your torso. But now, because you're sat down, it might become a little easier. So we're going to interlock the fingers, or place one hand on top of the other. Thumbs either side of your sternum or your breastbone, and nice and slowly you're going to twist your torso to one side, again to the point where you feel a little bit of stiffness, not past it. Return to the middle, and then rotate the other side. Now what you can see here with my upper body is actually travelling in line with my chin. My head isn't remaining straight on, such as this. My whole upper body and spine is rotating in unison. And that exercise, we're going to do 20 in total. So that's 10 either side, like the first exercise. Now this is where it's slightly different. Now number 4, which would be marching on the spot, if we were doing a standing warm-up, you can proceed to march on the spot, like so. But as you'll find, if you're sitting down, your quadricep muscles and your hip flexors are already quite tight because you're in a flexed position. So what you can do instead of marching on the spot are what I call heel digs. So with heel digs, you want to shuffle your bottom towards the front of the chair, not so much that the chair will tip obviously, but to a point where you can move your legs quite freely. And with a heel dig, it's a simple out, tap the heel, and tap the heel. And like marching on the spot, this exercise will be completed with 10 repetitions each side, and that's 20 in total. Nice and easy. Again, avoid slamming your heel down into the floor, placing unnecessary strain and pressure through your ankles and your knees. Just a nice, simple heel and heel. Next exercise, we're going to do this a reach up and a reach forward. So with this exercise in particular, ensure that you're sat up nice and straight. So if you're slouched and you reach up in the air, you can cause some strain in your back. So nice and tall. And what we're going to do, we're going to alternate the repetitions. So we're going to reach up high and then we're going to reach forward. So it's high up to the sky and then forward. That's one repetition. Up into the air and forward. That's 2 repetitions. We're going to do 10 in total here. Now, if you do have any injuries whatsoever with your shoulders, with your elbows, that will limit your mobility on one side of your body, you can simply reach up with the one, reach forward with the other. Reach up with the one, and reach forward with the other. But if you do have the capability to do 2 arms at the same time, that's fantastic because you'll be training each side of your body in unison. Excellent. Now, as part of a warm-up, we often recommend a pulse raiser. Now, a pulse raiser is, as it says on the tin, it'll elevate your heart rate or your pulse to a level that prepares your body to exercise. So with a pulse raiser in chair-based exercise, it can prove a little tricky because what we are doing is try to cater for people's mobility and balance. But a good pulse raiser, I often find, is a simple 1-2 combination in terms of shadow boxing. Now, it doesn't have to be anything fancy, anything like Muhammad Ali, but a nice simple 1-2 combination should suffice, such as the following. Now, this is a good exercise in general to get your heart rate up. With chair-based exercise, as you can see, it's incredibly safe. Punching while you're standing up can often throw people off balance. But as you can see with my hips, they're nice and stable, my feet are nice and stable on the floor, and it's still allowing me to get my heart rate up. And with shadow boxing, I'd recommend anything from about 30 seconds up to about a minute. You want to get to the point where you're not out of breath, but you can feel that your heart rate is elevating and your breathing rate is increasing. But if somebody was to stand next to you, you'd still be able to have a conversation with them. Following the shadow boxing, you should then be ready to start your main exercise session. And that's where our next video is going to take you. We're going to show you some chair-based exercises that you can do within your living room using some of the things that are dotted around the house, such as cans of food or water bottles. If you have a resistance band to hand, that will come in very useful, as we'll also show you some exercise variations with a resistance band. For now, we hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe to our page, and also visit us on Facebook at Inside Action Heart for more information. Thank you.